I had dreamt of visiting this destination for the past 3 years, but every year something got in the way. Finally, I decided to book my flight no matter what. Located in the Arctic Ocean, about 650 kilometers from the North Pole, lies the Norwegian archipelago of Svalbard, also known as Spitsbergen. Its capital, Longyearbyen, is the northernmost town in the world, situated at 78 degrees 13 minutes north and 15 degrees 39 minutes east. When I looked out of the plane window, I instantly realized this place was unlike anything I had ever seen before. Ice and snow stretched as far as the eye could see. For someone who loves snow and hasn't experienced a proper winter since childhood, thanks to global warming, this was a dream come true. So we're here in Svalbard. It's crispy -22. Beautiful and sunny. So amazing. Right outside the airport, there is this pole with a polar bear warning sign and signs showing the distances to the cities around the world. Time to settle in. I'll quickly unpack and then go have a look around town. The view from my room is breathtaking. I arrived on Easter Sunday and most places in Longyearbyen were closed, except for one, Café Huskies. It was packed, but after a few minutes we managed to find a seat and admire the 2 retired huskies who were resting and enjoying cuddles from the customers that day. I ordered a poppy seed cake and a winter spice hot chocolate. There was a selection of various hot chocolates, coffees and teas. The cafe is small but very cozy and inviting. After warming up at the cafe, we walked around Longyearbyen until we reached the edge of town. At the town's borders, you'll find polar bear warning signs. It's prohibited to leave the town without a firearm or at least a flare gun to scare off and, if necessary, defend yourself against a polar bear.
So our plan B would be to take the car, drive the opposite direction, drive past the airport, which is here.
Our guide, Albert, suggested a change to the trip due to high winds at the EISCAT radar station. Instead, we agreed to explore a valley called Bjørndalen. Svalbard has several abandoned coal mines, one of which is mine number 3.
So the coal layer in Svalbard is usually about 50 to 70 centimeters. So they were just taking that layer out, but just on tracks. They would go into this tunnel, and this would be how they would take all the sediments out.
So the mine is like all the way like to the airport, like
The mine is all the way through the mountain.
Through the mountain.
Through the mountain all the way to the airport.
Time for a break. On most longer tours, guides bring a selection of instant camping meals with various options, like creamy salmon with pasta, chicken curry, or reindeer stew. Just add hot water and in a few minutes you'll have a surprisingly good meal ready to enjoy. Apparently, we were not the only ones having lunch. After this short break, it was time to continue our walk. The quickest way down a hill is to channel your inner child and slide. On our way back, we spotted a walrus lounging on the ice accumulated along the coast. This big fellow was quite relaxed and didn't mind us getting relatively close. Unfortunately, my camera battery had long since died, so I wasn't able to take any good pictures. Electronics, especially batteries, struggle in temperatures below -10 degrees Celsius, so keeping them warm is essential. Our final stop was the Global Seed Vault, which opened in 2008 and now safeguards over 1.3 million seed varieties from around the world. The seeds are stored in a dry and cold environment at -18 degrees Celsius, ensuring their viability for long periods. The seed vault provides backup for most food crops, including wheat, rice, potatoes, and eggplant, protecting them against natural disasters and conflicts, thus preserving them for future generations. Good sunny Tuesday morning from Longyearbyen. Today I am going for a hike to Trollsteinen, but first let's enjoy this beautiful sunrise landscape together. Our guides were Samuel and Sebastian. Samuel is a geologist and Sebastian is more versed in history. They shared interesting facts about the surrounding glaciers and mountains, as well as the history of Svalbard and Longyearbyen. As a surprise bonus, the guides combined our hike with a visit to the ice cave.
Wow, it seems pretty small.
The entrance to the ice cave was a small hole in the ground, which felt a bit claustrophobic, but once we got inside, there was plenty of space to move around comfortably. I had never visited an ice cave before, and it was an amazing experience. It was much warmer inside than outside, and the light from our headlamps made the ice sparkle and shine. We could see the sediment layers beneath the ice, stalactites hanging from the ceiling, and oddly beautiful shapes of frozen water streams on the walls.
And in 2005-06, that was a big event, and it was a tipping point. So we haven't been able to restore the Arctic state. So now we have. That's why Svalbard is sitting at the edge, and it's something they like also to play with the names and everything. No, Svalbard, the last frontier. Well, it's a frontier between Arctic in the east and Atlantic in the west. So the whole ecosystem now in the western basin, so Isfjorden, Kongsfjorden, Honsund, it has Atlantified, which means less sea ice, more Atlantic water, which is more salty. The microbiota is from the Atlantic.
In addition to the stunning landscape, we could also see the EISCAT radar station in the distance, which is used for Northern Lights research. We steadily continued our climb to the top of the mountain. Fortunately, we had sunny weather and no wind, which created perfect hiking conditions. At -16 degrees Celsius, it didn't feel cold at all, with sun shining on our faces and the warmth from our exertion. When we reached the summit, it was time for lunch while taking in the view. I had never seen so much snow in my life. White landscape stretching as far as the eye could see. It was simply beautiful. The journey down Trollsteinen was relatively easy and relaxing. In the evening, we went with our guide Hikmet on a hike to Blomsterdalen, near the airport. We spotted the Norwegian Coast Guard vessel named after the archipelago, Svalbard. Commissioned in 2001, this icebreaker is designed to break ice both ahead and astern, in thicknesses up to 1 meter. It primarily operates in the Arctic waters north of Norway, including the Barents Sea and around Svalbard. Several guides mentioned that seeing Isfjorden frozen like this is now a rare sight due to warmer winters. According to the University Center in Svalbard, the last time Isfjorden was properly frozen was during the winter of 2004 and 2005. Good Wednesday morning. Today I have planned a hike to Platåfjellet.
It's snowing a little bit today. Nothing crazy, just a few snowdrops, snowflakes falling down. But it's certainly different weather from the yesterday.
All the reindeer meat comes from the mainland. The whale meat, so Norway's one of 3 countries that still whale. So they whale minke whale, that's it. And they about 700 a year, I think.
Platåfjellet is one of the 2 mountains between which Longyearbyen is nestled, offering a panoramic view of the town. One of the first birds to return to Svalbard in spring is the amusing little auk. These birds breed in colonies on steep slopes and cliffs like this one, laying just a single egg in June. While it's quiet here in the winter, our guide Martin noted that the cliffs become very loud during summer, when they are teeming with birds. Little auks play a crucial role in tundra ecology. They feed at sea and bring energy in the form of guano, their droppings, to the land, thereby fertilizing the ground. It started to snow again and the visibility decreased significantly. Our return journey was very quick. At the end of the hike, we stopped by the former coal Cableway center, which was used to transport coal from the mines to the harbor until 1987. My next stop was the Svalbard Museum, located within the University Center in Svalbard building complex. You can learn a lot about Svalbard and its history in the museum. Svalbard was discovered by Willem Barents in 1596 and in early 17th century became a place for whaling and hunting, with several whaling stations being built. In 1920, the Svalbard Treaty was signed and the archipelago became a Norwegian territory, while all citizens and companies of nations under the treaty can become residents and undertake any kind of commercial activity. During the 20th century, hunting declined and coal mining began in several areas. Today, Svalbard is a highly protected area, with research and tourism driving the economy. Longyearbyen serves as the center for Norwegian activities, while Russia maintains a presence in Barentsburg and partially in Pyramiden under the Svalbard Treaty. Now I need to get some food and rest, because tomorrow will be a long day at sea. Today I am going on a cruise around Isfjorden.
You got a passenger certification, Icebreaker certification, and actually you're on board a boat built in Finland, registered in the Faroe Islands. You got a Philippine crew, and we're sailing in Norwegian waters.
Traveling with us was a group of 2 expeditioners who had brought along 3 adorable sled dogs. Due to the frozen fjord, the ship won't stop at Pyramiden, a former Soviet town, but I'm sure there will still be plenty to see. And I'm also secretly hoping to spot a polar bear. Even though the temperature was as high as -8 degrees Celsius, the wind made it feel much colder. Everything on the ship was frozen, so we had to move very carefully. Our guide shared an intriguing, slightly mysterious story about Svenskhuset, or the Swedish house in English. Built in 1872, it stands as the second oldest house in Svalbard. In October 1872, 17 Norwegian seal hunters were forced to row 350 kilometers to winter in the Swedish house after their ships became trapped in ice. The house was fully furnished and stocked with equipment, tools, fuel, and, most importantly, plenty of food, much of it tinned. They had everything they needed to survive the winter and even hunted reindeer for additional fresh meat. Several failed rescue attempts were made until June 1873, when an expedition from Tromsø finally reached the house, only to find all 17 men dead. What happened to them? At the time, it was believed they had died of scurvy. People generally thought scurvy could be prevented by physical activity, so the men's deaths were often attributed to laziness and idleness. Today, we know that scurvy is caused by a severe deficiency of vitamin C. It wasn't until 2008 that the true cause of the 17 men's deaths was discovered. I encourage you to watch until the end of the video to learn what caused the Swedish house tragedy. We were fortunate to spot a polar bear, even though it was from quite a distance, at least 250 meters. Though it felt farther. The polar bear population around Svalbard and the Barents Sea is about 3,000, but sightings are not guaranteed during a stay in Svalbard. Polar bears spend most of their lives migrating across sea ice, primarily hunting ringed seals, bearded seals, and harp seals. While they may look cute from afar, you certainly don't want to encounter one up close. The polar bear is the largest carnivore on Earth, with males significantly larger and heavier than females, reaching up to 260 centimeters in length and weighing up to 700 kilograms. Males typically live about 25 years, while females can live up to 30 years. While the polar bear was relaxing on the ice, someone on a snowmobile stopped a few hundred meters away, likely contemplating their next move as the bear showed no signs of leaving. This situation highlights the importance of staying vigilant when venturing outside of town in Svalbard. I was fortunate to see several walruses during my stay in Svalbard, most notably on an icebreaker trip. Males can grow up to 3.5 meters in length and weigh around 1,500 kilograms. They have thick skin and primarily feed on clams, which they locate using their whiskers on the seafloor. According to the Norsk Polar Institute, there are an estimated 2,500 walruses living in Svalbard. The amount of sea ice increased and grew thicker as we ventured deeper into the fjord. The crew rammed the thick ice in frozen Billefjorden twice, and the ship came to a stop. Before anyone could leave the ship, the crew established a perimeter and checked that the ice was safe to walk on. Once everything was checked, our expedition team disembarked and slowly disappeared into the white mist in the distance. After that, we were able to disembark and walk on the ice ourselves. Visibility was quite low due to the snowfall, and in the distance I could see only a white mist. The frozen Billefjord prevented us from reaching Pyramiden, which is accessible only during the late spring and summer months. After a brief and windy stay in Billefjord, it was time for us to head back. On our way back, we had a few more walrus encounters, including these two that looked as if they were kissing. The snowfall intensified as we returned to Longyearbyen. If you leave your snowmobile outside like this poor fella did, you'll have to dig it out. Time to sleep. What a beautiful morning. Sadly, it's my last one here in Svalbard, as I'm leaving this afternoon. But before I go, I'd like to share a bit about Svalbard's mining history. Whalers and hunters began collecting coal on a small scale in the 17th century, but large-scale mining didn't start until 1899. Several attempts were made to mine in Svalbard, but perhaps the most famous is John Munro Longyear, the main owner of the Arctic Coal Company, who founded Longyear City in 1906, nowadays known as Longyearbyen. Everything from before 1946 is protected and cannot be touched, which is why you can still see remnants of old buildings and mining machinery scattered across Svalbard. As Svalbard moves away from coal, the last active mine, Gruve 7, closed in summer 2025. The focus is shifting towards tourism to bring in revenue and create jobs for the locals. Burials in Svalbard are only allowed in special cases. Typically, when someone dies, the body is transported to mainland Norway for burial or cremation. Burial in the ground is challenging here, as old graves can resurface due to the shifting permafrost. This cemetery dates back to before burials were banned in Svalbard in 2017. 7 miners who died from the Spanish flu in 1918 were buried there, but in 1950 it was discovered that their bodies hadn't decomposed due to the permafrost, raising fears of the virus re-emerging. As a result, coffin burials were prohibited.
Well, there's something I haven't done in many years, and I had to do it before I leave. And that's a little snow angel. Small things make you happy.
Another interesting fact is that pregnant residents must travel to the mainland a few weeks before their due date. While there is a medical center in Longyearbyen, it is only equipped for emergencies. Svalbard is an incredible place, and 5 days is far too short to take in all its beauty. I truly hope to visit again in the future. From the plane, you can spot the Svalbard satellite station, SvalSat, established in 1997. It plays a crucial role in supporting NASA, EUMETSAT, ESA's Earth observation missions, and the Galileo and Copernicus satellites. One last thing. I owe you an explanation for the sailors' cause of death. As mentioned, most of their food was tinned, and at the time, lead was used to seal the cans. When heated, the lead melted and dissolved into the food. In 2008, 2 graves were excavated. Human remains and mineral samples from the buried bodies and rusty tins were collected. Bone analysis revealed high lead levels, and the tin sealant was found to contain 40% lead. Ultimately, the sailors died of lead poisoning. Have you visited Svalbard, or is it still on your bucket list? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.